Hey guys, welcome back to Shop Dog Fabrication. So today is a great day. It's not about the car so much today as it is about the news, right? For those of you that enjoy the Hot Rod Drag Week events, yesterday I got the email that I can register for it for 2021. So what happened was, for those of us that were registered in 2020, of course they canceled the event for that reason. We got the preferential treatment to RSVP or register first. So yesterday they sent out the email, or last night, got it, went ahead and registered. So I am in for 2021 Hot Rod Drag Week, which is awesome news. The other nice thing about it is it's in my home state, is where it starts and stops. So in Michigan this year. And, I'll pop in the schedule here. And you can see, we start in Michigan, like I said, and then we go over to Ohio, and then we go over to Indy, up into the Chicago area, and back over, here to Michigan. So if you are, a Hot Rod Drag Week fan, maybe we'll see you along the route or at one of the tracks. My history, I've struggled every year for the last 2 years. Now, obviously, 2019, I finished the car like the week before Hot Rod Drag Week. Just got a few miles on it, drove it to work one day and back, and that was about it. And actually, the night before I loaded it on the trailer, I found out that the rear springs were bad in the car. My wife actually drove up to Mancini Racing for me during the day while I was at work. Came back home, and basically that night before I was loading it on the trailer, I threw in a brand new set of leaf springs in the car. And then I end up burning up second gear in the transmission on the first day, but I still survived the entire week. I struggled all week long, with the transmission. Basically, just like I said, I burn it up. I was having problems getting it to shift properly, and I end up with a 14.2 second average for the week. But I finished the entire week. I think we put somewhere around 900 miles on the car. That includes getting lost, along the route. And then last year, right, it was canceled, but I did Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0. So my luck just continued to be bad, because 2 weeks before Rocky Mountain Race Week, I spun the rod bearing on the engine. So I picked up a junkyard engine, put it in there real fast with my camshaft, my heads and all that, got it running, drove it around the block a few times, and basically the exact same thing. Loaded it on the trailer and drove to Oklahoma 16 hours. Ended up using 36 quarts of oil on the journey, and fouling a bunch of spark plugs. And when I pulled the heads and everything off, and I got a build series on that, on the engine. And what I found with the problems that I have, my adventures and, race week, as well as Hot Rod Drag Week, in my video series things. So if you want to go check that out, those videos are there, and I'll put links or whatever, in here as well. And then now I finally have the car almost all back together. So I averaged 13.2 at race week with a bad engine. Basically, every couple hours I was swapping out spark plugs in 6 and 8. They were just that bad. And actually, when I pulled the heads off and pulled the valves, every exhaust valve had carbon, but 6 and 8 were really bad. So now I've got it all back together, freshened up engine. This year, hopefully we can run bottom 12s at least. And then complete the week again, hopefully trouble-free. So this year I'm trying to be more prepared than obviously the last two, because they've been kind of adventures. But that's the whole thing about Drag Week, or Race Week. It's the adventure, the people that you meet, the people on the side of the roads that wave you on, or the checkpoints when you see them there and they talk to you. And I've been able to meet people and stay friends with them, people out of Tennessee, out of Pittsburgh, places like that. It's a good time. So if you ever get a chance to do one, I highly recommend that you do it. So anyway, just a little short video here. We're getting ready to button up the car. I'm a transmission gauge away, from getting this in, getting the the coolant all filled up, getting a seat back in it, so I can take it out for a test drive. So we are real close to getting this on the road. Unfortunately, I've been putting 50 plus hours in a week at work, and pace is slowed on getting the car done because I'm starting at 7 a.m. and I'm working till 7, 8 o'clock every night, some Sunday mornings, and I'm just tired after a long day, and I haven't been coming out to the shop that much. So I'm hoping this Sunday to get her fired up, take her for a little cruise and make sure everything works, and then we can start buttoning up some stuff, get a few miles on it, and then warm weather is around the corner here in Michigan, and try to get to the track in maybe a couple weeks after I make sure it's good and roadworthy, because I do not trailer this. I am going to drive this to the track, I'm going to run it on the track, and I'm going to drive it home. I'll swap out the tires, I'll hook up my little trailer here with my gear, and take it there and back to the track. Man, that's what this car is about. It's about going to the tracks. And I also plan on doing some road trips in the car this year to some tracks that are 2 and 4 hours away. I'm going to drive it there. I'm going to run it for the day, have some fun. Don't care if I win first round or lose first round. It's about the adventure of going there, meeting people, having a good time, and coming back. Maybe find some cool stops along the way to get some neat photos, that of the journey, and a cool story or two. So that's what this adventure is about. It's not about win lights, although it is cool to go a couple rounds. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love to go rounds, but it's about the journey. So anyway, follow along as we prep for Hot Rod Drag Week in the journeys that I want to take to some local tracks that I've never been to, in just Michigan and maybe in around the area. Try to go over to Indiana and hit one up or something, And hey guys, just real quick, went to a swap meet this morning, got a couple goodies here. So I got a cheap gauge. It was in a Summit or an Autometer box, but this is a Summit Racing 2 5/16 temperature gauge. So I'm going to pop this sucker in till my good Autometer stuff shows up. And if this actually functions and works right, I may just leave it in and then save the Autometer for another build. So I am looking actually for another build. But anyway, I'm going to pop this in, and hopefully tomorrow we can get the car running. But the other things I got, also picked up for 50 bucks, a bunch of gaskets for the car. So I picked up 3 sets of intake manifold gaskets here, bunch of Felpro sets, a Mr. Gasket set. Also got some oil pan gaskets, some Jaggies there. Got some header gaskets and valve cover gaskets. So got all that stuff for like 65 bucks at the swap meet today. I could have probably picked up another set of intake manifold gaskets for 10 bucks. Guy was asking 15, but I figured I already had 3 sets. But I never see Mopar stuff like this at the swap meet normally. So I grabbed this stuff just to have in the shop just in case. You never know, when you got to pull the intake. Hopefully we will not have to pull this engine apart for a while. But I am thinking about building another engine that will have higher compression, some forged pistons, and I may put boost to it. Just small boost, not big boost. So this may get a turbo in the future. So you may want to stick around and check some of the future build stuff that might be coming this winter. So I've got a bunch of things rolling around in my head that I may do to this car in the future. So who knows what I'm going to do with this thing. Anyway, just a quick update. Got some stuff from the swap meet today. Gonna pop the gauge in the car, and then hopefully we'll have a road test video coming up here real soon. I got to top the fluids off, get the gauge in, and the other thing I need to really find is I want to get rid of this stupid amp meter gauge in here that I am using. Last year I lost an alternator at race week, and I need to get a voltage gauge instead. So I'm probably going to order a inexpensive voltage gauge that I found online, an Equus voltage gauge for like $28 I think on Amazon. It's a 2 5/16, so it'll fit my gauge cluster, and I can actually watch that voltage to make sure I do not have a problem like I did last year with the alternator, and get rid of that stupid amp meter gauge that's in there. So that's another quick update. So anyway, just this is a long-winded talking video and not a, hey, here's fixing stuff and making it better. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.